Hey guys, welcome back to another video. In this video, we're going to talk about the 5 things that I learned from my car accident, so stay tuned. So for you guys to get a little notion of how the accident went down, I was driving, so it was 11 at night, and I was going back home. I was driving, had some music on, and I was coming up to a traffic light. However, I had a green light, so I was going to go right through. I had the right of way, and I see that there is a trailer guy, and he didn't do a yield sign. He was supposed to do a yield, and he ended up accelerating right into me, and he tried to put a blame on me, saying that I didn't have my lights on. However, I did. In the picture, I'm going to be putting a couple of pictures for you guys. I did have my lights on. So he was at fault. He was found at fault by the cops once they arrived. And I got kind of angry. At the cops. The first guy, he was pretty nice. He looked at me and he asked me if I spoke English. He saw me as a Hispanic, so I guess he thought I only spoke Spanish. And I got kind of angry. I don't know why. I feel like I was startled for what had been happening, and then he just came up and he was doing his job. He was in his right and everything. I was the one that was being rude. I admit that now. I didn't want to see it though, and I feel like that's one of the things that many times we blame everyone else instead of looking at our faults. So in this video, we're gonna be talking all about that. And starting off with number 1, the first thing I learned is that the value of life is more important than anything materialistic. So, like I mentioned, the first cop that came, he asked me if I was fine, and the first thing I said was, yes, I'm fine, I can speak English, but my car, and I started blaming him for my car, something that he hadn't even done. So yeah, the first thing I would say that I learned is realizing that your life is more valuable than anything materialistic. Many times we start to look at what we own and what we have instead of focusing on our life itself, and that's more important than anything else. So I don't know if the first cop lost his patience, or he didn't show anything, but he called his buddy over, and then came the second cop. The second policeman, he came over and he looked me right into my eyes, and all he said was, you need to relax. God has everything under control, and just thank Him that you didn't lose your life. And that's when it hit me. I realized that I was paying more attention to what I was losing instead of realizing that I still had my life. Moving on to point number 2. The second thing I learned is that I need to move on with my life. I need to move on. Life isn't going to stop just because of what happened. Yeah, life isn't going to stop just because I lost the car. Life keeps going. And in many times in life, we're going to have setbacks. There's many things that are going to happen in our lives, and you got to learn that life moves on. And we need to learn how to move on as well. It doesn't matter how many setbacks we have in our life. I had to learn that. And I know it's difficult. For example, something that happened to me was they broke into my place and they stole a couple of things from me. So that was a setback to me, and I could have sat there and cried about it or whatever, but I didn't. I realized that, hey, I had a setback in life, I need to keep going. And that's what I did. I did the same thing in this car accident, and I realized that it's just a setback in life. That's gonna happen. There's gonna be setbacks, and we gotta learn how to overcome those setbacks. Life isn't gonna stop just because we lost something. We gotta realize that there's a greater purpose in our life. The third thing that I learned from this car accident is the importance of being surrounded by people that love me. And I know that sounds kind of corny, or however you want to take it, but it's very true. Sometimes we're surrounded by friends, I want to say friends, in quotations, because they say they're friends, but they're not true friends. Why do I say it's so important to be surrounded by family and friends that are true friends? Is because that night, the day of the accident, The only people that came to the rescue, yes, the cops and they did their job, yeah. But speaking about the people that surround me, the people that got there was my mom, my dad, my sister, and I had a couple of friends. And these are the ones that I consider true friends. I consider Erickson, if he's gonna watch this video, one that's called Joshua, his name is Eliel, the other one, Roberto. These are all true friends that were there that night, that looked after me, that as soon as I made a call saying that I had gotten into a car accident, they arrived on the scene. So those are the ones that look after your life, and they're not looking to gain something from you. They're not being stingy about the things they own with you, and that is considered a true friend in my opinion. Many times we surround ourselves with people that don't really care. And I know it sounds kind of mean, but we gotta talk, we gotta real talk here. And many times we're surrounded by fake friends and fake people that don't want the best for us. So this is something I learned. I had to learn it the hard way. I had to learn that not everybody that says your friend is gonna be there in a hard time for you. The fourth thing I learned is how important it is to be imperturbable. And the word imperturbable, I'm gonna be listing the definition, is being able to remain calm in a difficult situation. And that's something that I didn't do in the moment. I definitely got angry with the cop, started blaming him, saying, oh, it was his fault, I had the right of way, I was doing speed limit, and there was no need for me to act that way. And the cop remained calm, and I realized that's all I needed to do. All I needed to do was speak to him the right way, because he was the authority in the moment. And I was being very rude, in my opinion, now that I see it. I was being very rude, and I wasn't speaking the right way. So that's one of the things I learned. We have to learn how to keep calm in difficult situations. There's going to be things that are going to be hard, very difficult. Many times we're going to lose a family member. Many times we're going to lose something materialistic like what happened to me. Many times we can even get fired from a job. And it's in us to be able to remain calm in those situations. And I feel like that speaks a lot about somebody when they're able to keep calm even in the most difficult situation. So remain calm even in the most difficult situation. Imperturbable. Don't forget that. And this brings us to point number 5. Some of you guys may be wondering where I'm at right now, and we're gonna get to it in the end. So number 5, the 5th thing that I learned from that car accident is that I gotta learn how to trust in God. And that's something that many people say they know how to do and say that they do, but they really haven't. If you're trusting in God, you shouldn't be asking yourself, oh, how am I gonna do it to pay this? How am I gonna do it to get another car? How am I gonna do this? How am I gonna do that? And that's where you know that you're not truly trusting in God. And that's something that I really had to understand and go through. In the whole process, after the accident, there were 2 years that went by where I had to fight my case. I actually had to get a lawyer because the company of the semi-truck driver, he didn't want to pay me. He didn't want to pay all the damages that had been done. And that was a big problem because I had insurance and I had everything the right way, and that person didn't want to pay. Basically, his insurance didn't want to pay me, and it was a big problem. So that's where my faith was really put to the test, and I had to learn how to trust in God. And that's the 5th thing that I learned, and I feel like I should share that with everybody. If you're going through something similar, you have to learn how to put your trust in God. And that was the most important lesson of all, I would say. From these 5, that's the most important. And as they say, leave the best for last, right? So that's number 5. And I had to learn how to trust in the Lord, and He was going to do what was right for me. He's the one that was going to bring justice. And after a couple years of my faith being put to the test, He answered. I got a call from my lawyer saying that the case had been settled and that the check was ready and I could go pick it up. So that same day, I called my parents, told the people that were with me that night what had happened, and they were very happy for me. Going back to that point about being surrounded by people that really love you for who you are. So yeah, I went to go pick up the check, and after that, I was able to get a new car. So I went from having a small car, a Turismo, having a Nissan Altima, and you guys are probably wondering now what car I got now and what car God blessed me with. So let's get right to it. So yeah, God has been good, and I'm very happy of what He's done in me and all the lessons that He's taught me. Many times we wonder why these things happen to us, and we wonder, we make ourselves a question. We say, why me? Why me? And we start to blame God for it, and we say, why me, God? Why me? And instead of asking, why me, we should ask, what for? There's always a purpose. God always has a purpose for us. He has a purpose with every life out there. So He always has a special purpose designated to a special person. So instead of asking, why me, we should be asking, what for? Because there's always a purpose behind everything. And that's the biggest lesson of all. So if you can take anything from this, that's what it would be. Learn how to trust in God, and He's going to be able to do everything for you, and He's the one that's going to fight for you. He's the one that fights all of our battles. So thank you guys for watching, and I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of story time, you would say. I enjoyed doing this video. I hope this story helps somebody out there, and that's the reason why I do it. I do this just because I love recording. I know it's still weird to me to speak into a camera, but if it's going to help somebody out there, that's why I want to do it, because I know that God didn't just do this just to help me, but for me to share this story and it be of help to others. So thank you guys for watching. If you guys have gone through a similar experience, leave it in the comment section below. I also want to read from you guys. I want to read your guys' story. So yeah, let me know, keep me updated, and I'm gonna be paying attention down in the comment section below. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video and if you made it this far, be sure to like this video, be sure to comment down below, and subscribe. Thank you guys for watching. See you guys. Peace.